All right. I just have to report some work going on the college basketball and the NBA algorithm. So I've been asked to do this, and I kind of do want to do this because it answers the question like, what is the best percentage of all the variables, Ken? Like, you can change how much you weight each one of these things, like wins. Wins were given 25%, points per game average 25%. And I've just added a couple of new categories for field goal percentage and 3-point shooting percentage to this. And I was like, well, what is this percentage? We need to write a macro and write some code to automatically run through a bunch of different combinations of percentages. And that's what this is. I set up about 500 different combinations of percentages. And you can now, or I can now, put in a combo number, and the results of the day are now redone. So like 999, I guess, is what this was yesterday. I feel like we were better than 9-4 though. And this didn't look exactly the same way. Oh, I know why. Because I added a bunch of stuff to the cube. That's right. All right. So I was recording a video previously and I started to get into what I wanted to do. And it's really, 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 really complicated. And that's what I realized when I was in the middle of the video. So I'm going to really dumb this down because I just want to, it's a very simple question. Let me go back. It's a very simple question, actually, not simple, but it's very straightforward. What percentages am I supposed to put in here so that the team's power is different? Like if you put 100% on wins, watch what happens. Everyone's power changes right here. Like the whole setup is based on this distribution of these variables, right? So what's the best distribution? Well, we can ask math to figure that out for us, right? Yes, and I'm like I'm partially the way there. I'm able to get you there manually. I'm not able to automate the process. So I'm going to get some help to code a macro that will do what we want to do, which is test out a bunch of different combinations of percentages, these things. So I built the capability to do it one by one, right? And watch what happens when we refresh now. Yeah, we were 11-2 yesterday. So combo number 999 is the one that when you see me doing videos and talking about college basketball and like what are the predictions, the team's power and the margin and everything that's related to that was off of this distribution right here. Okay. Which is combo number 999. That's what I called it. Well, that's a pretty good day. Right. And if we want to use this same distribution, which is a very good day, we can look at tomorrow, guys. There's a million games tomorrow. I haven't even started. I don't want to get into this. But you'll have to pay me to look at how many games there are. Like, are you serious? How many? How many? Luckily, I just copy pasted, an export into here to create this. Didn't take me that long, but 137 games tomorrow. Is that right? That's crazy. I think I pasted it in right, but that's what that says. So, I mean, it's an unbelievable day. You want to, this thing is a book to really go through on a day, but let me back up. So just today was 11-2 at the distribution, the 999 distribution. Well, I now have 530 some odd more combinations that you can test. So you just type in the combination number here in this cell, and then you refresh the pivot table, and everything changes. And now all of a sudden, this is much worse. It's 8-5. It's not as good as that 11-2 that was combo number 999. Okay. Combo 999 has a great day with a bunch of wins. Well, what about combo number 2? Better, but not as good. Well, what about combo number 3? They're all going to be slightly different. And you're going to learn something as we go through all of them up to 536 or whatever it is. No, that we're not at 531. You got 530 something combinations. There, this one is one. That's a bad one too. 531 had a bad day. So we got to beat 999. Is there anything that's going to beat 999? And are there are more than one day in here also? Let's look at yesterday too. Combo number 999, 70 and 15 total for those 2 days. Are any of the other combos going to beat that? What about combo 35? You're going to do better than 70 and 15? Nope. 60 and 25. What about combo number 125? There's so many combos. A little better, but no, right? Combo 999 is still winning, which is pretty amazing because every single combination that I've tested has not been as good as combo 999's results, which is the one that we were using. But what we're going to do is we're going to run all these different combinations. And every time we run a combination, we're going to have a macro grab a predefined range of all the historical games. We're going to copy them and we're going to add them to either this cube or another sheet with another running simultaneous cube, which is probably what we're going to do. And we're just going to keep stacking these brand new databases that get created every single time the macro goes one, refresh. It actually doesn't even have to refresh because every time you press one, it's just going to go to the cube and grab the highlighted area. Like let's say this was the range of games that we wanted. We could create a range by calling it something here and saying, range using, or we could say new combo, new C range, right? Or new combo range. And then you can just highlight that range every single time. It's going to change this number and it's going to go in sequence one down all the way down to 532 or whatever that we have. So it doesn't even need to refresh, but it will do that. It will grab this range, right? It'll grab this combo. It'll grab the new C range. It'll copy it and it will add it to a new cube, or it will add it to the bottom of the cube and then it will label it. Like it'll add it down here and then it'll label which combo string it was. And that's going to create a brand new cube of all the potential results. And that's how we're going to be able to sift through all of these different combo results by the day or even by the season if we want to. We're going to be able to look at all of them and quickly sort to say which combos had the best win-loss percentage, and did any of them beat combo string 999. So that is what is on tap for the next few days, and I will be able to. I know how to get help from a friend to write this macro to get it to work. It's going to take if we left just those 500 combinations in here, the automatic macro is going to take like a half hour to run to actually compile this brand new database that we want to create. And the more combinations we add, the longer it's going to run. What I want to do is at least I'll spend some time in the first week or so testing it out where you actually have to run it for a good period of time, like an hour or two, to at least trim down some combination strings that apparently are very beneficial, to find out which of these independent variables have the strongest coefficients and are most predictive of results. I'll spend some time doing that, but after that, I don't want to have too many combinations in here because if you're going to run this on a regular basis to get a good distribution, then you don't want to have to sit and wait an hour for this thing to run. But that is going to have, it's what kind of capability it's going to have is it's going to automatically run and it's going to give us percentages and find the best string possible. And I'm humbled to see 999 beat everything I've tried. Every single number. You just pick a number. Pick a number. Every number is worse than this. Every single one of these is worse, which is, I mean, I haven't tested them all, but that's what I saw in the sample that I ran. So it makes me think that the human element of testing it by hand and creating, the combination string that we've been using for a while at the 999 one, which is this one, that this one has, it's got it's got a lot of good things in it. Because I've been testing it for years, and it just, I don't have a specific combination string that's as detailed as this because I broke my samples out by 5% intervals. And so you don't have anything like 17%. It doesn't exist. So I may have to create a bunch more combination strings. There's a lot of different directions we can go with this after it's built. But this is a video that is explaining what I'm building to find the optimal percentages, not just in college basketball, but also in the NBA one. Did the same thing in the NBA one also. Did that right here. I can't remember what combo we were using on the day. I know Sacramento and Brooklyn won, and I said play this. It favors Sacramento here. It doesn't favor Brooklyn in this version. So this is a whole brand new percentage. I got a lot of work to figure out which combination is actually the one we're going to use, because I broke the file earlier tonight when I was doing this. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at the Google Sheet. Anyway, point is I set this up for NBA as well, and I build a macro for NBA as well, because you could look at the entire season in NBA and test all these different combo strings, right? Be like, can you do, what does combo string number 1 do? 54% win. What does combo string number 3, 869 do? 57%. Like, you're going to run all of them and get an answer. And after that macro is run and the database is built, you refresh, you're going to get a list of all the combo strings and their win-loss records and their entire database. Because it is not too big to build the Excel file to this size to run 500 combinations, at least for a few days of results. I don't know if I want to run it on the entire season, because for NBA, for example, I have almost the entire season. I've got 1,200 records, 1,200 times 500. That's going to start to get big, but it would still work. And so we'll just see how the macro runs, how long it takes. And by early next week, I can pretty much guarantee you that I will have a distribution that is better than the 999. I can pretty much assure you that, because once the macro is built, then it just becomes a question of testing out as many wide range of distributions as possible. And it will be very easy to aggregate those results and sift through them once the macro is built. So we're going to build the macro first for college basketball. I'm more interested in doing it given that there are so many games in college basketball, as noted by how many there are on Saturday. I can't do a video about tomorrow or, all the games. I don't know if I will. I might, but there's just too much going on. So but this is it. And for those who stuck it out in this video, I'm going to try to give you something to bet. Let's try it. For those of you that are still here or fast forwarded from the beginning because you thought there might be some picks of the day. All right. Unbelievable number of games. Oh, what's our distribution? 999. Yes. We're going to go with the 999 distribution for now, because it's still the best we know of. Refreshed. What happens? Well, you got terrible lines up here. Let's do what we're supposed to do and use our slicers. Home teams. How many home teams are there? There are 59 home teams. How many home teams above 10% margin? All these guys. That looks like 28 or so. So that means all of these lines right here, some of them are in the 200s, 300s. All of these games, basically, it thinks you're going to win 90% plus of those games. So that's these teams right here, starting at, looks like Penn State. So all these games here, like something like St. Mary's beating Santa Clara, injured. Oh, that's minus 775 though. It's not good. But those are the really, really powerful home teams. Well, what about, are there any home underdogs? There is. There's one. It's Coastal Carolina. It's home versus South Alabama. It's only plus 110s, and their strength of schedule is not as good. So, yeah, I mean, it is a home underdog, and you probably want to take it. But the line is not super awesome. Well, what about all? That means all our other underdogs are going to be away, and there are a lot of underdogs. Oh my gosh, this is such an enormous day. Is this right? Like, how many college basketball games we got going? There are 23 underdogs. None of them are at a margin greater than 20%. How interesting. Well, I shouldn't say that's not that interesting. But something like Morgan State away at Howard plus 150. See, that's a pretty decent pick. Interesting. The lines are not great right here. You got an Idaho at plus 195, Tarleton plus 210 at Cal Baptist. That one is a good line. Tarleton has a better strength of schedule. That's all right. Here you got an injured Old Dominion, App State plus 160. That's not a bad one. You've got, yeah, I mean, boy, is it a humongous day. Humongous day. So, if you're just taking home teams and you want to take all the home teams with the best lines, you can sort this by money line. Like, I'm definitely going to do a round robin like this, where money line descending and just home teams. So here they are. You can see that Coastal Carolina underdog shows up on top. Then there's a bunch of reasonable lines here. You want higher margins. So something like Lehigh against Lafayette, that's a pretty good one because the margin's at 9%. See how this margin's a little higher? This is a decent one. Alabama Birmingham against North Texas. North Alabama against Central Arkansas is 11%. Kansas State, although there's some injuries here with this Texas Tech game, so watch out for that. But point is that these are really good lines, and these are all home teams, and home teams are definitely a secret recipe in college basketball. So just running down the line with a big round robin with a bunch of these picks. Watch out for this because Clemson's injured, but like Coastal Carolina, VMI, Lehigh, Charleston Southern, Army, Drexel, Wright State, Alabama, like all these guys. There's tons of them, right? Like all the way down to about Portland. I mean, even if you want to get to like minus 175, that's 11 games right there. I'm staying away from Clemson, but all these other ones, 11 of those on a round robin, like you're probably going to hit 7 or more of those games. And there's a potential because they're home teams to do like a 9-2 or 10-1 or the famed 11-0, which I don't think I've ever got 11-0. Yeah, I had my 11-0 choke. I had one that was going to be an 11-0, and Portland State blew a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter or second half for me to lose that. So it was 10-1. So you can do 10-1. I haven't done 11-0 yet, but doing something like this with home teams, and then grabbing other home teams. I mean, grabbing really chunks of all these home teams, honestly, and just throwing them together, you're gonna hit like probably 80% of them. That's how good the algorithm is at the 999 kid. All right, so that's the video, guys. I got way too much to do. There's a lot of work going on, as you can see, and we'll see what kind of optimal distributions we can find, because that's the secret sauce, and the algorithm is going to get us there. All right, good luck. Lots of games. Enjoy your Saturday. May all your picks be winning.